We look to the skies and ask, are we alone in the universe? What if we've been asking the wrong question all along? What if we are the ones who don't belong? In the vast silence of the cosmos, humanity whispers a lonely question. Where are the aliens? We build telescopes, send radio signals, launch golden records into space. But for all our searching, the skies have remained eerily silent. And yet, there's one anomaly in this universe we can't explain. Us. No other species on Earth reshapes entire ecosystems, splits atoms, creates artificial intelligence, or dreams of colonizing Mars. No other animal seems so out of place, so advanced, so quickly, almost as if we were never meant to be here. Could it be that we are the aliens? It sounds like science fiction, but peel back the layers of history, biology, and mythology, and you might uncover one of the most unsettling possibilities in human existence, that Earth was never truly ours. We arrived, or worse, we were sent. In this video, we're diving deep into a question that flips our entire sense of identity. What if humans didn't evolve here, but arrived here? You'll learn why some scientists, geneticists, and ancient historians have quietly questioned humanity's origins, the strange biological and psychological traits that make humans stand out from all other life on Earth, the forgotten myths and unusual evidence that hint at an extraterrestrial past, and most importantly, what it would mean for us now if we're not originally from Earth. We're not here to prove aliens exist. We're here to explore a possibility, one that forces us to rethink everything we know about ourselves, from our place in nature to the future of our species. So buckle up, because this isn't just a theory, it's a mirror, and once you look into it, you might never see Earth or yourself the same way again.
Before we dive into today's mystery, here's something important. Over 95% of people who watch our videos aren't subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy this type of content, support this channel by subscribing. It only takes 2 clicks for you, but it means a lot to us. It helps us grow, reach more curious minds, and build a strong community around the questions that matter. So go ahead, hit that button, and let's keep exploring together.
Let's go back, far back, not just thousands of years, millions. According to mainstream science, Homo sapiens evolved from earlier hominins in Africa around 300,000 years ago. We eventually spread across the globe, adapting to new environments, developing language, agriculture, and civilization. So far, so good. But here's the first strange wrinkle. Most species evolve slowly, incrementally. But we went from fire to smartphones in the blink of an evolutionary eye. That leap from stone tools to AI within 0.01% of Earth's history isn't just impressive, it's suspiciously fast, almost engineered. Even more puzzling, we're terrible at surviving in nature. We get sunburned easily, despite being from a sun-soaked continent. We suffer chronic back pain from upright posture. Human babies are unusually helpless at birth, needing years to become independent. Unlike other animals, we rely on clothes, tools, and shelter to survive. It's as if we were designed for a different world, then dropped into this one. Many ancient cultures seem to believe just that. From the Sumerians to the Mayans, Egyptians to Dogon tribe, myths describe gods or sky beings who descended to Earth. These entities often came from the stars, gifted humanity with knowledge, and sometimes created us. The Sumerian Anunnaki, the biblical Nephilim, the Hopi star people, different names, different cultures, yet the same cosmic theme. Humans were not born here, we were planted. Now, of course, these are myths, but they're also data. Stories passed down through oral tradition often hide truths wrapped in symbolism. And it's not just legends. There are strange anomalies too. The Great Pyramids aligned perfectly with Orion's belt. The sudden explosion of civilizations with writing, math, astronomy. Prehistoric artifacts that don't match the technology of their time. It begs the question, did we really evolve alone here? Or were we helped, guided, or even inserted by something else? Of course, mainstream science rejects these theories, and rightly so. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But sometimes, all it takes to ask a different question is a small shift in perspective. And once you start looking at humanity as not native to Earth, the world around you stops making perfect sense and starts feeling like a carefully prepared habitat. If evolution is a story, then DNA is the language it's written in, and our DNA tells a very strange story. Let's start with a simple truth. Humans share 98.8% of our DNA with chimpanzees. That remaining 1.2%? It holds everything that makes us uniquely human. Complex language, abstract reasoning, emotional nuance, advanced tool-making, and the ability to contemplate our own mortality. It might sound like a tiny difference, but in biological terms, that's the spark that lit the fire of civilization. The mystery isn't just what changed, it's how fast it happened. In under 1 million years, a blink in geological time, we went from primitive apes to conscious beings capable of rewriting our own genetic code. That's not evolution, that's revolution. Scientists call it the cognitive leap, or Great Leap Forward. But even today, no one knows exactly why it happened so rapidly. Here's where it gets even weirder. There are segments in our genome, sometimes referred to as orphan genes, that appear out of nowhere. No gradual development, no link to earlier species, just there. Entire sequences of genetic material with no known evolutionary path. It's like opening an ancient manuscript and finding whole pages written in a completely different language, with no explanation. These genes are often linked to brain development, immunity, and even consciousness. They're what make us us, and they don't appear in any other living species. Not in primates, not in mammals, not anywhere. Now let's go deeper. Our chromosome count is also a red flag. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, but our closest relatives, like chimpanzees and gorillas, have 24. What happened? It turns out, somewhere in our past, 2 chromosomes fused together. That fusion was neat, organized, and perfectly aligned. Almost deliberate. Some geneticists even compare the fusion site to a zipper carefully stitched by hand. Coincidence? Maybe. But when nature makes changes that tidy, eyebrows go up. Then there's our brain. It's disproportionately large compared to our body size. Our prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic, foresight, and planning, is far more advanced than in any other animal. It consumes nearly 20% of our energy, which makes no evolutionary sense unless it served a critical function. But here's the twist. No one can explain why it developed so far beyond basic survival needs. Language, empathy, imagination, these are luxuries in the natural world. So why did evolution choose to invest so heavily in something so energy-consuming? Unless we were meant for something more? And maybe most bizarre of all, our genetic memory. Children are often born with fears of things they've never experienced, like the dark, snakes, or falling. But some researchers have explored stranger cases. Kids with detailed knowledge of ancient architecture, languages, or even astronomical alignments. It's fringe science, yes, but it suggests a haunting idea. What if there's something buried in our code that doesn't come from Earth? There's a theory known as directed panspermia, the idea that intelligent life can deliberately send genetic material across the cosmos to seed other worlds. Think about it. A capsule, DNA preserved inside, crashed or planted on a fertile, habitable planet. It wouldn't even take a spaceship, just time and silence. Could it be that we are the result of such an experiment? Not random mutations, but purposeful design? If our DNA is a code, then someone or something wrote it, and Earth was just the paper it was printed on. Earth is our home. At least that's what we're taught. What if we've been trying to fit in all along? Take a step outside the city, into raw, untouched nature. No roads, no shelters, no tools. Just you and the wild. Now ask yourself this. Would you survive, not for a day, but for years, generations? Most likely, no. Because when stripped of civilization, the human body, this incredible biological machine, suddenly looks fragile, slow, and oddly out of place. Let's start with something basic. The sun. We evolved in Africa, right? A continent drenched in sunlight. So why do we sunburn so easily? Prolonged exposure to UV radiation causes sunburns, skin cancer, premature aging, eye damage. Animals don't wear sunglasses or SPF, yet they thrive under the same sun that gives us cancer. Even our closest relatives, chimps and gorillas, have dense body hair or pigmented skin that protects them naturally. But us? We need artificial layers, clothing, sunscreen, hats, just to walk under our own sky. What kind of native species can't handle its own sun? We freeze quickly. We overheat quickly. Our internal temperature must stay in a tight range, or we die. Most mammals adjust. Wolves grow thicker coats, elephants flap their ears, camels store water and regulate body heat. But humans? We carry sweaters into buildings with air conditioning. We don't regulate temperature well. We suffer from frostbite, heat stroke, dehydration, hypothermia, all more than most animals. Even terrain betrays us. We sprain ankles, we slip, we get infections from thorns and wounds. We can't run fast, climb well, or see in the dark. Without tools, we're prey, not predator. Our feet aren't adapted for rocks. Our eyes aren't adapted for night. Our ears are prone to infections. It's like this planet didn't design us. It just tolerates us. Today, over 25% of humans suffer from some form of allergy to pollen, nuts, animals, the air. Our immune systems overreact to harmless things. Other species, not so much. Even childbirth is a battlefield. Human babies have enormous heads thanks to our large brains, and our narrow pelvises make birth dangerous. That's why so many societies historically suffered high maternal mortality. No other mammal has this problem on the same scale. Also, our backs hurt, our wisdom teeth get impacted, our eyes deteriorate, and we live long past our reproductive years. Biologically, we're inefficient machines. Nature rarely builds such poor blueprints. And yet, here we are, surviving, but always in friction with our own environment. Here's a detail you may have never thought about. Human circadian rhythms, the internal clocks that tell us when to sleep, eat, or feel alert, aren't exactly 24 hours. In isolation studies with no light cues, humans naturally drift toward a cycle of 24.5 to 25 hours. That's odd. Earth rotates every 24 hours, but we seem wired for a different tempo. And guess what? Mars has a day length of 24.6 hours. Coincidence? Probably. But interesting? Absolutely. When you look at species like dolphins, bees, ants, or fungi, you see creatures in harmony with their environments. They contribute, they recycle, they sustain the balance. But humans, we take, we burn, we build, we bury. We've become the dominant invasive species, terraforming the Earth for our own comfort. No other species causes mass extinction just by existing. No other species has triggered climate collapse. We're not in balance. We're in conflict. It's like we're trying to remake the world into the one we remember. But if we don't belong here, then where do we come from? And more importantly, why were we placed here at all? There's a paradox at the heart of being human. We are fragile animals, born helpless, unable to survive in the wild, but with minds that can shape the very fabric of reality. We dream in mathematics, we paint our pain, we kill for ideas, we weep over the stars. No other species on Earth does anything remotely like this. So here's the question. Why would evolution create minds capable of imagining other dimensions, questioning their own purpose, or fearing things that don't exist? That's not survival. That's something else. Let's consider a typical animal brain. It's built to do one thing: stay alive, find food, reproduce, avoid danger. That's it. Human minds, however, are obsessed with mortality, meaning, mythology, the future, justice, the infinite. These aren't traits that help a species hunt or hide. So why do we have them? Why would a species obsessed with survival also write poems about grief, paint galaxies they've never seen, imagine gods who created them? It's almost as if we were gifted a consciousness meant for a different game, one where physical survival was only the first level. We're also the only species that actively sabotages itself. We invent nuclear weapons. We pollute the oceans we drink from. We create systems, economic, political, ecological, that ensure our own suffering. At the same time, we write symphonies, build telescopes, discover black holes. We are brilliant and self-destructive in equal measure. That's not evolution, it's internal conflict. Almost like we're stuck between two purposes, one rooted in survival, the other in transcendence. Could that be because the consciousness driving us isn't fully native to this planet? Maybe our minds were meant to reach for more. Maybe Earth was never the destination, just the training ground. Throughout human history, nearly every culture, regardless of geography or time, has shared one thing: the belief that we came from the stars. Whether it's the ancient Egyptians mapping Orion, the Mayans tracking Venus, or modern-day mystics meditating on cosmic vibrations, this shared longing persists. We look up, we reach out, we feel homesick for a place we've never seen. What if that feeling isn't metaphorical? What if that hole we all carry, the ache we can't name, is real? Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, a shared psychological structure that binds all of humanity. What if part of that unconscious isn't just human? What if the reason we're never satisfied is because this isn't where we began? Here's one last thread to pull. Why do we dream of flying? Why do children draw spaceships and talk to imaginary beings? Why do so many abductee accounts sound eerily similar, across cultures, across decades? Are they all delusions? Or is something deeper speaking through them? There's a theory in speculative psychology that dreams are fragments of genetic memory, stored not in our minds, but in our very cells. If that's true, then maybe the myths of ancient astronauts, the visions of prophets, the sci-fi stories we obsess over, aren't fantasies. Maybe they're echoes, memories of a life long before Earth. From the moment we could hold a tool, we've been trying to change our world, not just adapt to it, rewrite it. We don't just live in nature, we conquer it. We don't just survive threats, we erase them. And now in the 21st century, we're not just dreaming of other worlds, we're preparing to leave this one. But here's the deeper question. Why are we, as a species, so obsessed with getting off the planet we call home? Let's look at our history as a progression. Caves protected us from the wild. Houses protected us from the cold. Cities protected us from isolation. Satellites protect us from ignorance. And now, spaceships may protect us from extinction. Each technological leap has served a single purpose: to separate us further from the chaos of the natural world. Animals evolved to better fit their environment. Humans, we build our own environments, and now we're building one that's not even on this planet. That's not natural progression, that's direction. Why is our greatest ambition not peace on Earth, but life beyond it? We fantasize about Mars colonies. We send golden records into space. We dream of warp drives, terraforming, Dyson spheres. Elon Musk has said, we want to become a multi-planetary species. NASA's long-term goal is human settlement of the Moon and Mars. And sci-fi, the mythos of modern humanity, is obsessed with star travel. What does this tell us? Maybe our dreams are a signal? Maybe our technologies are the clues left behind in our subconscious? Maybe we're not building for escape, but for a return. There's something else happening, quieter but even more profound. Humans are starting to merge with technology, neural implants, artificial limbs, gene editing, mind uploading. We are digitizing consciousness, bit by bit. Some call it transhumanism, others call it evolution. But whatever it is, it points toward a species trying to transcend biology. Why? Maybe because Earth isn't suited to our minds. Maybe because the bodies we inherited weren't designed to last. Or maybe because our destination is not another planet, but another state of existence. The final step in the alien experiment might not be flight, but transformation. Imagine this. Thousands of years ago, an ancient intelligence sends seed ships across the galaxy. Inside, code, DNA, memory, mission. One of them finds Earth. It activates. It grows. We call it evolution. But really, it's the booting up of something other, that something becomes us. And now, after millennia of confusion and war and wonder, We're finally beginning to remember, not with words, but with invention. Because every time we build a rocket, every time we launch a satellite, every time we simulate consciousness, we come one step closer to becoming what we once were and returning to where we came from. Whether or not humans are truly alien, the idea itself holds a strange power. It reframes everything, our identity, our purpose, even the way we treat the planet. Because if we are not of this world, then maybe we've never really understood it. Many of us walk through life feeling disconnected from nature, from each other, from ourselves. We build massive cities, yet feel alone in crowds. We seek meaning, but drown in distraction. We try to find ourselves in a world that never quite feels like home. But what if that disconnection isn't psychological, but existential? What if the deep ache we feel, the restlessness, the searching, is a side effect of being visitors? We treat the earth like a resource, not a relative. We destroy rainforests, melt ice caps, poison oceans, as if we're just passing through. Maybe we are, but even if we didn't originate here, we're here now. And that means responsibility. If we were planted on this world by chance or by intention, then this planet became our guardian. It gave us shelter, water, breath, time. We owe it more than exploitation. We owe it care. Our obsession with technology isn't just convenience, it's directional. AI space travel, digital consciousness. It's like we're subconsciously building a version of what we used to be, or what we're meant to become. But there's danger in forgetting why we build. Technology without ethics becomes destruction. Power without wisdom becomes extinction. If we truly are alien to this world, then technology is our memory, but ethics is our evolution. Without it, we don't rise. We just fall faster. So the relevance here is personal. Every choice you make with your phone, your vote, your lifestyle, every time you create or destroy, you are shaping the legacy of a visitor trying to become a steward. Think about anxiety, depression, the rise of existential dread in a world more connected than ever. Maybe part of it is because we're living against our instincts, not the biological ones, the cosmic ones. We're homesick, but we don't remember where home is. So we fill that void with things, careers, status, noise. But what if the answer isn't out there? It's an understanding that we were never meant to fit in perfectly, and that's okay. Maybe our alienness isn't a flaw, but a gift, the ability to wonder, to question, to imagine something greater. That's not weakness, that's our signature. Whether you believe this theory literally or metaphorically doesn't matter. What matters is what it opens. Humility. Maybe we're not as superior as we think. Responsibility. Maybe Earth isn't just a backdrop, but a partner. Curiosity. Maybe we're not the end of a story, but the middle. And if that's true, then what comes next is up to us. Let's say for a moment that it's true, that we are not from here, that we are, in some deep, unspoken way, alien. What now? How do we live, knowing we may be visitors on a planet we didn't evolve to fit? Surprisingly, the answer isn't fear, it's opportunity. Because the moment we realize we don't fully belong is the moment we start choosing who we want to be. Think of it this way. You're a guest in someone's home. You don't destroy the furniture, poison the water, or burn the walls. You show gratitude. You clean up. You give back. The same applies to this planet. Live lighter, reduce waste, consume mindfully, question convenience, reconnect with nature, not because you're one with it, but because you're accountable to it. Protect biodiversity, not just for survival, but out of respect for a world that let us stay. Earth may not be our origin, but it's our chance. If we're a species in transit, between stars, between forms, then our biggest decisions should reflect that. So we ask, are we building technology to remember who we were, or to escape who we've become? Are we expanding into space out of curiosity, or out of fear? Are we using intelligence to connect or to conquer? Because if we're just following instinct without direction, we risk repeating the same mistakes on new worlds. The future is not about having the most tools. It's about asking the right questions before using them. If we are seated travelers in a borrowed world, then we should live like it, not with superiority, not with shame, but with a deep, quiet humility. Every breath, a gift. Every star, a memory. Every person, a fellow passenger. That means being kinder than necessary, seeking truth without arrogance, creating beauty, even in struggle, building systems that include, not exclude, because the most alien thing we can do is show compassion in a world still learning what that means. We upgrade our phones every year, but when was the last time we upgraded our consciousness? If our trajectory is truly cosmic, then the inner evolution matters as much as the outer one. Meditation, philosophy, art, therapy, self-inquiry, these aren't luxuries. They're tools for becoming worthy of the intelligence we've inherited. We shouldn't just advance, we should awaken. Because if we don't know ourselves, then even if we reach the stars, we'll still be lost. Maybe you felt it, that strange pull toward the stars, the quiet feeling that Earth isn't quite it, the sense that your soul has seen more than your eyes remember. Don't ignore it. Whether real or metaphorical, that feeling is a key to curiosity, to wonder, to purpose. Let it guide you, because maybe the most important mission of the alien soul is not to conquer a planet, but to heal it. Let's rewind. We started with a question. What if humans are the aliens? Along the way, we uncovered unsettling patterns. Our biology doesn't match this planet. Our psychology defies evolutionary logic. Our technology seems to remember something our minds forgot. And our history, both myth and science, whispers stories of sky beings, star origins, and forgotten missions. Maybe it's just myth, maybe it's metaphor, but maybe it's memory. The signs are subtle, DNA that seems edited, bodies that suffer in their own environment, minds that dream of stars more than soil, and an unstoppable urge, not just to survive, but to transcend. If this is true, we are not Earth's children, we are her guests and her stewards. And if it's not true, then the theory still teaches us something vital. It teaches us to question our story, to reflect on our purpose, to see life as a mystery to be respected, not a machine to be controlled. Because whether we came from apes or from Andromeda, we're here now, together, on a living world spinning in the void. And that's already miraculous. So maybe the real alien mystery isn't out there. It's right here, within us. A consciousness capable of wonder. A species that doesn't just ask how, but dares to ask why. And maybe that's the whole point. Not to find where we came from, but to become something worth sending anywhere. If this video made you feel something, a chill, a question, a memory you can't quite explain, then you're not alone. Because somewhere deep down, we're all searching for where we came from, or maybe for where we belong. So let's open the conversation. Do you believe humans might be the real aliens? Have you ever felt like Earth wasn't your true home? What do you think is the purpose of human intelligence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your theories, your doubts, even your dreams. Let's explore this mystery together. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you're the first to uncover the next mystery. Because the more of us who start asking why, the closer we get to remembering who we really are. Stay curious, stay awake, and never stop looking up.